Hey guys, welcome to my shop. My name is Tony, and this is Tony Turns Wood. Today we're going to be making a spurtle. We're going to start out with the pith offcut block. You know, we cut out our piths when we're milling our logs. These come from the sides. Cut the pith out, you still have these nice big blocks on the end. So that's what we're going to be using. And we're going to make a spurtle. And the spurtle is an interesting little stirring mechanism, and most people don't know what a spurtle is. So you got to make sure when you put them on your craft table that it says spurtle. Or people are going to go, what? What's that? Well, I didn't know what a spurtle was till someone asked me to make one, so let's QAI.
Thanks for asking, Tony. A spurtle is a traditional Scottish kitchen tool, essentially a wooden stirring stick, used for mixing and stirring porridge, soups, broths, and stews. Instead of a spoon-shaped bowl, it's typically round, straight, and tapered, sometimes with a thistle-shaped top. As a wood turner, you'd probably appreciate that spurtles are one of those classic turned pieces that combine function, tradition, and a nice opportunity for shaping details.
Some nasty chainsaw marks and stuff. I won't spend a lot of time making this round. I'll probably just speed through it for you. I'm going to be using both a spindle roughing gouge and a skew. I know a lot of the people have asked me to show projects for more beginners that don't require mastery of the skew or something. So you'll see a lot of spindle roughing gouge here. I'll just use the skew at the last part to do my finishing and add our bulb and handle on the end. So let's get to it. This is a Mifer spindle roughing gouge. And my tool post is too high. Anchor, find your bevel, lift your handle till you start to get a cut. Just stop and move my tool rest in a little closer. We also don't want to nip this end over here, but you can see we're getting down there. We're through some of these chainsaw cuts, and we have a long way to go to get around here, but we only need a 3/4 inch diameter to start with. So we're starting with a big piece of wood to get there, but it'll get the job done. A little more flat there, so we're nice and close. We'll speed through this, like I said, so you don't get stuck having to watch all that, but you get the idea. Just kind of get in there and do it. I can feel when we're getting close. Every time you come over this, it jumps and chatters. Taking big, aggressive cuts, just trying to get it round. It's a pretty dry piece of wood, feels nice and stable. One of the things you can do once you're getting to your diameter is you can anchor. Put your finger underneath here next to your tool rest and your thumb on top. As you lift your handle, glide along the tool rest. That's going to give you a nice uniform diameter. It's the easiest way to get a tight uniform diameter on something. I'm going to move the tool rest down over here real quick and just round off that end. Now I won't hit that when I'm coming down that direction now. Get a little closer. Got our tool height set real nice. Our tool is basically riding on just a little above center line all the way down. That was just to show how I got down to the final diameter I need. We got one little knock there, and then we'll finish this up. But I just wanted you to see how you can get some clean cuts if you slow it down. Right now, we're just trying to get around. Okay, we've got it basically round. Terrible, ugly cuts. These are roughing cuts. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and smooth it out and get down to diameter before we do our decoration for the top. Our total piece only needs to be about 11 inches. We've got a nice big 12-inch piece of wood here, so I can leave myself some space. I'm going to go ahead and mark out up here for our end. So we know this is 12 inches, and then on this end, I'm going to go ahead and mark where my 11 inches is. So if we finish off the project somewhere in that area here and start with our top up here, we should end up with the right size for a good spurtle. Feel that in the middle there, the vibration. I'm going to go ahead and mark out where my end is here. Using the long end of the skew, round this over a bit. Kind of my ending spot there. Same thing, long end of the point here. Ride it into the wood a little bit, make a little V groove, and I'm just going to cut over just to establish my top and my bottom. Okay, now I use the skew to do that. We can also do that with a spindle roughing gouge. So I didn't round over this end over here. So here's my spindle, regular spindle gouge. This is a Crown M2 high-speed seal from Sheffield. It's brought into the country by hurricane. Anchor, define my edge up here, and just roll that end into the bead. Now this bead here doesn't serve a single purpose. It's just giving us the end of our project and gives me a chance to practice that cut. A lot of projects, if you're not doing serious production work, which I don't do, I'm not claiming to be a pro or production guy, but if you're not really trying to crank out production work, work on getting these nice shiny cuts as you're just doing some establishing. We got some ugly stuff in here still that we're going to deal with. But the first part we want to do is get this tapered down to about 1/2 inch at the bottom here. And to do that, I'm going to continue using the spindle gouge. Up here is where our decoration is going to be. So we want to leave this bulk up here, but we'll start our taper from here. If you notice, I'm taking these smaller cuts to get down to my area. Sometimes you'll find just rotating your wrist, using the tip of your tool, you can kind of step down where you want instead of trying to take one long pass. You'll see how those cuts look pretty nice. Pretty shiny. You really could start sanding at 220 or 320 if that's what you want to do. We're going to have some pretty figure in here, it looks like. Now I'm going to bring this down across the whole way, just nibbling down through the end. It's the simplest way to do it. If you start to get a little vibration in the middle, which I'm starting to experience here. Get my face shield on here. Another way to do it, obviously, is with the skew. I'm going to try to ride the skew along the back here, holding still have a bulge right here, but I'm using my hand underneath the piece to support it as I push the skew. So you can see we've got a fairly uniform. I got to get down there a little tighter. It's bouncing around a ton, but we've got a nice shape. It's pretty grain, got a little knot in there. So what I'm going to do is just go ahead and turn on the dust collector, sand this with 220, and then from there, we'll be able to move up to doing our decoration. Okay, got that sanded down to 220. Feels nice, got some nice figure in it, some pretty stuff in there. We'll polish this up after we finish up our decoration. So what we're going to do up here is we're going to do a little swoop in here where your hand can go, and then a ball and a bead. Now we can use the spindle gouge Make our little swoop. And then we can go ahead, I'll still use the spindle gouge. We're going to make a little bit of a bead here. Go ahead and use the skews to get a little bit better cut. I'm sorry, it's not doing well with the tighten that up from the other end with our spindle gouge here. Getting out my small skew just so I can get in here a little tighter. Oh, bad catch. Bad catch, Tony. You'll see that was a bad catch. That was a real one, though. It's a real catch. Got way under there. Just a nightmare. That was a bad one. Trying to use the little skew up tight. Not my tool rest up high enough. But there's a bad catch for you. It happens. Still feel I left some of that in there. Might have to go back and sharpen. Yeah, look how bad that is. Oh, nightmare. Well, it's going to be a little smaller ball than we planned on. I should have done a better job there, guys. But it happens. You get a real catch. You know, you can get a real catch. Let's see if we got through that or not. If we still have, yeah, still a little there left, and it's moving around a lot. You can see, we're getting some vibrations. A smaller spindle gouge. A lot of vibration right in there. So let's see what we got now. If it's got through that line or not. See all that vibration? That's nasty. Okay, I'm going to clean up that in there, sand that and see how that looks before we move on. But we're getting some... Oh, there's actually this figure. Oh, there's some weird stuff happening in that wood. How fun. Now let's see if I can get in there without catch. Tighten that bead up. There we go. Now I'm going to go ahead and make this more decorative here. Tool rest is high. Okay. We're going to be doing some 80 grit sanding on this one, which was not my intention when I set out to do this for you guys, but the vibration now is so bad. It's shaking loose in the middle here on the wood. And I didn't put a steady rest on it like that I really just have to sand it. So I just want to show you that you can. It happens. No point in denying it doesn't. I'm going to go ahead and grab, though, a little bit more aggressive sandpaper. Instead of 320, I'm going to go down to 120. Just taking off that really sharp edge right here. I was watching Richard Finley, and he said any turner tells you he never uses sandpaper to shape his beads now and then is a liar. So there's proof. I use sandpaper to shape my beads sometimes. That's just 120. Feels nice and smooth. We're able to take care of some of that. I'm going to go ahead and go backwards though, because I want to get all those out. And I don't want to give any excuses. So let's just go back to the 80 grit here. Use a little 80 grit bowl gouge. It's bouncing around the same. I can really feel the vibration when my hand's right up on it. And it is just a kitchen utensil, but still, you want someone to pick it up and go, wow, that's nice. I like my normal spindle orientations. I'm going to go ahead and sand with the grain between each grit. And I'll bring you back when we're ready to put some finish on this and cut off that bead on the bottom there. Okay, we've got it sanded up. I'm going to go ahead and use my traditional shop grit here. And then we'll go ahead and make a little bead on the end. It's just got a nice clean blue shop towel. You guys know this stuff. I think mine are actually from Scott's. I get them at Costco. Put a little dab on there. I like to apply it on nice and thick while it's not spinning on long spindles so it doesn't fly everywhere. And then we'll speed it up here. In these cracks, you can just kind of saturate a corner, get it down in there, unless you're going to burn a line or do some sort of detail. Okay, we've got enough on there to get a nice high polish and take care of all of the 320 lines I have in there. Move to a clean part of the towel. A little pressure up in some of the crevices so you don't lose anything. Not too much pressure on a spindle like this. It's already kind of vibrating or you can break it. And that should be all of the finishing we need for that one. Looks pretty nice. Got some nice figure in there. You can see a little chatoyancy and some ripple. Again, just an offcut pith section. So the next step that I'm going to do is I'm going to come in and I'm going to use my parting tool up on this end just to get down to about 1/8 of an inch, 1/4 of an inch here, and we'll saw that off afterwards. And on this end, we're going to round this down into a gentle round tip that'll get in the bottom of a bowl so when you're stirring something. tool rest here. Just kind of coming in, rounding it, rolling the tool over. Okay, once you get to that point, if you feel comfortable with the look of your round, you can come in with your parting tool. You can hear how much vibration we're getting here. Now when we go to take that off, we'll just cut that with a saw and sand that end off real nice. Now let's move up and take care of that top. Once I'm down there, I like to go ahead and take my skew and just clean off that area there. We're not going to be able to sand, at least not on the machine. That's pretty much it. I'm going to use a saw to pull these two off. There's no point in me having it go flying since it's so wobbly. We'll sand it up and I'll bring you back for a wrap up. Okay, we've got it all sanded up now, and you can see we've got our Spurtle. So we've shined up the top here nice, little sanding, just a slight detail. Fits in the hand really nice, won't slide out of your hand as you're pushing down on it. Nice tip on there, and that's what we got. That's a Spurtle. So you saw I had a couple of starts and stops. We had a little bit of vibration in this piece that made it a little more difficult than it should have been. Had a couple of catches, you know how that works sometimes. But we spent all that time this Christmas making Christmas ornaments. All those skills that we did to do that, like the Finley challenge and stuff, you can take out and actually apply to other products that'll actually get out there and sell for you. So I hope you go out and make a Spurtle. If you do, leave a comment below. Tell me how it went for you. Maybe you could post over on the community page a couple pictures of what you've done. I'd love to see it. Until next week, get out there and turn something.